Hi, hello, how are you, Amanda? Seint artist. We're going to talk about Seint makeup, cream-based 3D foundation, and what the heck the difference is between a main highlight and a brightening highlight. Everything in here is foundation. This contour is, my blushes are, everything is foundational coverage. They have different names than traditional makeups, like a main shade and a brightening shade, because that's exactly what they are. And knowing the difference is important. Keeping them side by side, your main shade and your brightening shade side by side, they're close. But if you use your brightening as an all over and you think they're interchangeable, they're not. Having a color that's too light for your skin is going to accentuate your texture. We have texture. Everybody has texture. If you look at somebody's skin, you say they don't have texture, they got a filter. Skin is a texture. Pores are real. Some are larger than others. And so having a proper color match is key. So send me a makeup-free selfie facing a window a couple steps back. We're going to get into this. Your main shade is the closest color to your skin tone. So when you put this on, it should be a pretty darn good match to your skin tone and maybe a touch darker. That's going to give you the coverage that you want. And it's really for balancing your skin. I only like using my main shade on the beard of my face. This is buildable. All of our shades, again, are foundational coverage, and they're all 80% pigmentation. And you put these colors on based on the tones of your skin. So right now I have scarring, and I need to balance the beard of my face because I'm not blushing my jawline. I'm not bronzing it. I'm not, and we contour in certain areas. Your main shade is your skin tone, and we're just gonna balance out. I'm gonna cover my scarring, and I'm gonna go around my mouth. And this is going to give us, what is flickering? There's something flickering, I think. Or I'm gonna stroke out, I don't know. But your main shade is going to give you balance on the lower part of your face. I have a lot of discolor. I'm 44 this weekend, and so with my skin, it's changing, it's discoloring. I've got hyperpigmentation coming through, and this lower part of my face needs balance. That's what my main shade is. And as you start piecing it together, it's like a puzzle piece. It's like paint by numbers. And you just need this main shade on the beard. Your brightening shade is exactly what it sounds like. I have reflecting light that hits here, it hits my cupid's bow, my chin. Those are areas where you brighten. And less is more. Remember, these are 80% pigmentation, so less is more. When you use a color that's too light for your skin, you can really see where it goes. But I'm putting it in places that show reflection, and so it's going to give my face dimension. And so I just spread this out over the brows, okay? And then we can just hit the cupid's bow a little bit and the chin. And this just creates a touch of contrast. It shouldn't be a drastic change, but it will give contrast. And this is 3D makeup because your face is 3D. It's not a one-dimensional face. And so putting our makeup on that way is what's going to give us that less is more natural look that accentuates the beauty of our faces. Trusting the process, wait to the end, because look at me. Like, look at me. Trusting the process. I'm not done. I'm not going to the store looking like this. I don't look great. Trusting the process. So I just go down the middle of my face. I'm going to do my nose and my under eyes a little bit later, just because of the process that works for me. There's a bazillion ways to apply this makeup. Finding your way is key, but knowing the difference between your main shade and your brightening shade is going to help you get a finish you like. Okay, we're going to move right over to the contour. You want to stipple into this. Our contours are dense, so you might have to stipple into it a little bit harder. That's okay. And we're gonna go across our face. Our hairline leaves shadowing. The shape of our skull creates shadowing. Our hollows of our cheeks, the sides of our nose. These are contour areas, not brightening areas. Nothing's bright right here. Nothing's bright down in this area or even this area. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that contour, which is cool. I'm using the color Stone. And this is a color that I like in the winter because it has a touch of warmth, but it's still cool and works with contouring. And so we're gonna bring that across the side of the face here. That's it. And this is gonna blend with that brightening that's too light. Because remember, if you use a color that's too light, it can accentuate texture. And I have a lot of texture on my forehead. And so I'm gonna use these together because they are all foundational coverage. So I bring my contour across my forehead, and then I bring it down to the outer part of my brow. I do my brows after my face because I always just screw them up when I'm putting my makeup on. And then I'll flip it to this little pointy, and this is the powder brush, and you can pull that brightening, and this picks up excess, but it mixes with that contour. You just flip back and forth and blend the edge together. And this gives us dimension, coverage, but also balance without turning our face one color. And that's what's nice about using a cream makeup. Also, if you're maturing, your skin is changing. Your pores might be a little larger. They're like a shirt collar that you love so much, and it gets wider and wider the more you mess with it. The more heavy makeup you put on, the more you're stretching out those pores. You're filling it, stretching them out, you're making them into buckets. And so using a makeup that changes with your skin, with your fine lines, I'm not doing things, I'm aging gracefully here so far. And so I'm not doing the fillers and the stuffers. I'm just using a makeup that's working with my skin as it changes. That's what changed the game for me with Seint, is I liked it more. I was always looking for what would work with my skin, and Seint works. All right, we're gonna go back into that contour and we're gonna work with that shadow, but because I didn't bring that main highlight up here, this is giving me foundational coverage on my cheeks, into my temples, to my forehead. Okay, my brightening and my contour came together, created balance as they met, and I have foundational coverage using a contour and a brightening together. That's what Seint makeup is. It's all foundation. And so using my contour, I'm also bringing it up onto my cheekbone, but I'm keeping it above my natural shadow. I'm applying it above it, not into it. And then I put it on like a bronzer, because again, it has that little bit of a touch of warmth. It's subtle, it's tiny but mighty, a lot like the rest of the tints. These tints, because they're 80% pigmentation, you will use less than traditional makeup because you don't need more, because you have all that pigmentation. Traditional makeup is 18%, stick creams are 40, and Seint is 80. That should explain why you need so little, but it will look like so much more, okay? We're grabbing this, we have our natural shadow here, and I'm just gonna accentuate my jawline. I just push it up in front of the earlobe and then I come down. So easy, so simple, in front of that earlobe and then down into that natural shadow. And this just chisels things up a little bit. And that's the name of my game, is I'm gonna slender this. I'm gonna make it look thinner than I want it to look, because that's how I like my makeup to go. I'm gonna use my fingers here. I have a bumpy nose and this works best for me. I'm gonna put my contour on my ring fingers and then I'm gonna slide them down my nose and then square off that tip. And then I can just tap it out, bring it to that natural shadow of my brows, and then I bring it together in the middle because I have a bump. And this is gonna help hide it. And because I didn't put brightening on my nose, right now it looks a little crazy, but my contour should be darker than my skin, okay? But this is giving me coverage on my nose. If you have scarring on your nose, hyperpigmentation, stone is a great color to help camouflage that, because it is a very similar tone to hyperpigmentation, okay? Bridge it together. We're gonna slide right back over to that brightening, grabbing with my pinky, and I'm gonna go right down the middle. And then I can use my finger to just tap it out. And this is gonna straighten my nose. I can use my brush to just tighten in that contouring. I don't like to blend out my brightening here with a brush. I feel like it can push it too wide, and that makes my nose look a little wider than I want it to. My nose takes also a little more time because I have that bump that drives me crazy. Me. My makeup is for me. Your makeup is for you. Wear your makeup how you want, that makes you feel the most confident. My nose is one of those things that I really work on. Okay, we're gonna go to our blush next. Sometimes I get a little out of hand with my blush, so I always do my under eyes afterwards so I can kind of rein it in. I'm gonna use two colors here. Now, I have acne scarring on my cheeks, but I do like a punchy blush, which can pull my scarring through. So I'm gonna go into Daylily, and I'm gonna pop this on my apples, over my blush, and then up my cheek. And I'm gonna put my main part of it on the apples over that scarring, and then blend it out and up over, okay? Taking that brush, whichever brush you want. I have favorites. I do, and one of them is the blush and bronzer, the other one is the detail brush, and then a good add to your collection is the blend. But also occasionally gravitate towards this bad boy, and I like my finish when I use it. It's a good dense brush. It's a full coverage brush. Your brushes determine your coverage. I like a good medium to full coverage because I have stuff and I want it to not show. And so I'm just gonna tap out that Daylily, and look at how pretty that is all on its own. It's so pretty, it's so light, and it doesn't need to be crazy. Blushes are just an accentuation of the flushness of your beautiful cheeks, okay? And then I can take a little bit of Marrakesh, which it's my favorite, and I've been hitting this right up at the tops of my cheekbones. just to add that flushness, and a little on the bridge of my nose. And then I'll flip it and I'll just blot it out with this brush that I really don't put a lot of product on, if any. I'm gonna switch to the blend brush for my under eyes. Less is more when it comes to your under eyes, but I always do them last. And I'm gonna take the small end of the blend brush, I'm gonna tap into my brightening shade. Brightening is totally up to you, but your under eyes are a soft tissue. Less is more. If you have very crepey under eyes, the balm is so good to prep with. I do have some on. I have a little bit of correcting on, which is the Daylily with balm under my eyes. I have dark under my eyes, but I just wanted to talk about Mane and brightening. You have two options here. You can use your brightening and have a little extra pop under your eyes, or if you feel that it creates texture, because again, if you use a color that's too light, it can accentuate texture. And if you have a lot of texture under your eyes, you need to do something different. And I'm going to talk about that right now because it's a subtle difference. Your brightening is a touch of a difference that can make the difference for people. You can skip brightening. It's not necessary. It's nice, but it's not necessary. Okay, we're going to take that color and I'm just going to smile, and you see this little shine. We're going to go right above it and go up that orbital bone. This is key. I'm not putting direct cream on my soft tissue. Okay, so this little trough here is my coloring line. I'm going to go outside of my coloring line first. Okay, and this is where the skin is the most taut because there's something holding it underneath. We can blend it in with that blush, and then we can bring it up and under. Again, your brightening shade isn't that much brighter than your main shade. Sometimes it's even closer than this. And it just is that subtle difference. It can make you look a little more awake, a little more youthful, but it can also, if you have texture, try balm. But if you have texture, use your main shade, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to show this is not a big difference. So I'm going to go into my main shade. I have amber, white peach as my shade. So I'm in amber, and I'm just going to do the same thing. See that smile shine? We're going to go right above it. And I'm going to go up that orbital bone, up into that corner, and then you blend that out first, and then you could just fluff it out to blend with that blush, then bring it to your soft tissue last. Because again, less is more makeup, more texture, and sometimes that brightening just accentuates the texture more, the crepiness, the puffiness, the fine lines, the wrinkles around your eyes. If that's the case with your brightening, just brighten down the middle. Sometimes I'll color match you and I'll say you don't need any brightening because I may think it's going to accentuate things. It could be pores, it could be texture, it could be whatever. And it's not always necessary. And hey, if you don't get a brightening, go get yourself a bronzer, go get yourself a blush, go get yourself a lip color. Our blushes are lip colors. So if you skip the brightening, that means you can get a lip and cheekiness basically free because you just swapped it out. That's girl math right there. And so using your brightening is not a huge difference. It's a subtle difference that makes a difference. And that's it. All right. And then if you want, then we go to set it. I'm using the Plush and Prep. I have oily skin, and the Fixate just takes me to greasy. So if you are combination oily, Plush and Prep is great. This has hyaluronic acid in it. I love it for my skin. Charlotte Tilbury, I don't think it has hyaluronic acid. I haven't looked though, so don't quote me on it. It's a couple dollars cheaper. I love this stuff. I do. You can get it all in one place. It's nice. If you are dry or balanced, I would say get the Fixate setting spray, and it has niacinamide in it, and it's great. It's very hydrating. It has aloe vera in it, and so if you have very dry to balanced skin, that's a good option. Okay, we're gonna take the Plush and Prep, and I'm just gonna spray my face, just like that. And then in my palette here, I have the Feather Blotting Dust. I love this stuff. I'll just use my blend brush. I'm gonna take this, and while my face is still damp, I'm gonna start at my temples. I always start at the temple. We're gonna go up and over, and then bring it to those, I call them no-no zones. And that's where there's just a lot of texture, which is for me right in the middle of my forehead. So I start at my temple and I bring it in, okay? Grabbing some more, I have it on there. This has a metallic sheen to it, which is going to set your makeup, but not make you look like a chalkboard. Temple, down, down, and then up onto that soft tissue to set. So good. Temple, down, and then up onto that soft tissue last. Okay? I like to set here. I have a lot of texture and I don't want my makeup to wear down, so I just bring that under and around my mouth. A lot of texture right here. And so I bring it to it last. So I come down and then up and around my mouth. A lot of people have a lot of chin texture, And so with that, again, starting back here, bringing it forward, okay? And if you feel like you have texture, you're gonna take that setting spray again, and you're gonna spray over it, okay? Spray over it. Grab that blend brush again. Don't put more powder on it, and just press in that setting spray with the brush. There's probably some in there. I mean, it's the rule of glitter. It's in there. Just like that. And that's the difference between Main and Brightening. One goes with the other. Let's do a lip. I'm trying to hear if I have somebody in the house. But we're gonna take our contour. I love this trick. It is my favorite. Everything is in here. My blush color is gonna be my lip color. My contour on my face that structures everything out and accentuates the beauty of it is gonna shadow my lip, make it look fuller on the top and the bottom. I'm gonna go right into that Cupid's bow, grabbing that Brightening or Main shade, you pick. Depends on the amount of texture around your mouth. We're gonna just contrast around the mouth. We're gonna take our phalanges, we're gonna tap it out. Tappy, tappy, tap, tappy, tappy, tap. This shadow here is just giving the illusion there's a shadow here. Same with up here with my little Gomez Adams and right here. This is a beautiful area. And using your contour to accentuate that instead of injecting your lips and hoping for the best, just use your contour. All right, I'm gonna take a multitasker brush. I love this brush. I'm gonna go in on the big end and we're gonna pick up that Marrakesh and we're gonna line our lips. I know it's winter. You can wear pink in the winter. Oh my goodness. I was an elf one year when I was younger and pink was my jam. And it made me look cold because I was from the North Pole. And pink is a winter color. I don't care. It's a summer color. It's an all seasoner. Maybe not fall. So skip fall. But anyways, putting Marrakesh on. These two are my top pick of the new releases. Marrakesh and Daylily. I'm gonna fill in on the outer corners here with Marrakesh. And you don't need to outer line because we use those shadows and they did the outer lining job without the outer lining look. Then we're gonna go in to Daylily. I think it's a mix of Bear and Frenchie, so it's not as peachy pink. And then we're gonna fill in with Daylily. Look at how pretty that is. And it tones it down if you think that Marrakesh is just, that's too pink for me. No, it's not. No, it's not. And these are both satins, which for some people, that can make people feel like their lips look very dry. I totally agree. And that's why we have lip oils. And you can pick your poison. There are so many good ones. I can't pick a favorite, but I am gonna pick this one. There's no favorites here. There are no favorites. I like them all. They're like children. They all offer something different and we love them all equally. Some are harder than others. Like caramel apple, but you still love it. And you can't pick a favorite. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm using Chai. This looks peach. It goes on crazy sheer. And we're just gonna pop that on. It's gonna give us some hydration. Just levels it up. And then your lips are gonna feel hydrated. These last about as long as you would expect a lip oil or gloss to last. But the long-lasting hydration you have on your lips lasts longer than the look of the oil. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna post a picture because I'm gonna go do my brows. I'm gonna go do my eyes. And I'm gonna post a picture of the final look so that this all makes sense, because I'm telling you, one leads to the next, leads to the next. It all works together. But keep your Main and your Brightening side by side. They are best friends. They need each other. Keep them side by side. Okay, that's it. Have a great day.